are on to the next step. This is video 2, part 2 of the custom drop-down tailgate for a 97 to 06 Jeep TJ. If I can get my latch to work, that's actually 03 to 06 because it changed a little bit from 2002 to 2003. What I've got started next is I'm drilling holes for the hinges. I know I'm a little bit ridiculous. I had planned to order some commercial door hinges, but they were rated for weight, but they were rated for a sideways weight, and I was at Ace and I found gate hinges, and I don't know. I'm a little afraid these won't hold up. These are probably one of my 2 weak points, but worst case, I unbolt them later and bolt something new in. I'm hoping that doesn't have to be the case. But I've got holes drilled in here. I was very, very careful about measuring because you have 2 hinges. If one of them is slightly canted off, the thing will never open quite right. So these are very carefully positioned. I've got a 1/2 inch gap between that and this bar here. And this bar, what it is going to be, I need to drill it, I need to cut it over here, and then I need to prime it. Before I prime it, actually, I am going to weld nuts on the back of it. Because, let me show you why. Over here's the tub, and this is where the bottom hinge bolts are going to go. That is 14 gauge steel. As you can tell from the original hinges, Jeep tailgates are only rated to a certain weight. People often put oversized tires on their factory tailgate, and then first accident they rip it off, or bouncing around on the trails it slowly starts to rattle and rip stuff off. This one wasn't an accident. I am pretty sure they had an oversized spare on there, because that's what it looks like happened. Was it ripped the tailgate off basically, and I've tried to bend it out a little bit, but it's never going to be quite perfect. Mine was still straight, but mine was rusty. So this is going to be backed entirely by that steel bar I've got over there. They'll be sandwiched together, and it'll spread the entire weight out across the entire, I don't know what you call that, the piece below the tailgate. What I'm going to have to do that, though, because this is actually an enclosed boxed system, I'm going to have to cut open a piece here and fold it. Sorry, camera's not in the right spot. I'm going to have to be able to cut open a piece here and fold it back so I can slide that in, get it in place, and get my first few nuts in, or bolts in. And once I get a couple bolts screwed in, I should be able to get it from there. So I think the next step here is going to be, let's drill out this rod. It is an 1/8 inch high carbon steel, and so it's going to be a little bit harder on my drill bits, but I think I can do this. Once again, kind of meticulous. Now, I don't have a center punch, but like I said, I'm cheap, so I'm using a nail and a hammer. You know what, sometimes you don't have the tools you need, but you can always make do. Most of the time you can make do. Sometimes the tools really make all the difference. But you know what? I was able to punch all of these and all of those with one nail. These ones, I'm thinking they're going to flatten the nail out. I might have to use 8 nails, one for each hole. But as long as it gives me enough of a punch to start my drill without it walking, I'll be happy. So I'm going to do that, and I'll get back with you as soon as I'm done. It did end up taking several nails. The head's all flattened out after about a strike or two. So it didn't quite take 8, but it went through a few. I did Drill through just fine. My drill bit's held up. I'm pretty pleased with that. I've got a mess of metal shavings here to clean up in the garage and in my boots. But I've got them bolted on, and everything seems to rotate nicely. I believe when I put it on the Jeep, I'm going to have to oil it, or that's going to drive me nuts. So that is the next step. From here, I have to weld those nuts onto this plate, because I'm not going to be able to hold those nuts with a wrench inside the Jeep. So, let's see here. I guess the other thing I got to mention is all of these bolts are stainless except for the nuts that I'll be welding on. I did not get stainless because, if I understand correctly, it is not safe to weld stainless. So, I'm gonna spray some anti-spatter spray on the bolts so they come out and they don't end up with spatter welded to them. And then I think I'll pull out the welder. Now, if I've told you in the past I don't know how to weld and I'm using the worst possible welder you could possibly use, so don't judge my welds when they come out. As long as they hold, I'm going to be happy, I think. Well, they're certainly not pretty, but they appear to be holding. I was even able to get all the bolts out. A few of them had a bit of spatter that caused a little bit of trouble, but it didn't seem to damage the threads beyond repair. So next step, I get to cut out that box that I showed you on the Jeep and try and get this in there in a way that I can hopefully hold it and bolt this thing on. Wish me luck. I'm always a little bit freaked out about cutting on my Jeep. It's a little bit more freaky when I don't have a clear plan. I'm gonna do it anyway. Well, I screwed this up. I tried to make a drop down tailgate, but it doesn't drop down. It still swings to the side. Hey guys, so I have to say I am super excited. This thing, I've got to get eventually the rubber gasket on here. I'm missing a couple nuts because I seem to have lost a couple, but I've still got to get a separator in here between the aluminum and the steel so that that doesn't corrode, and I am going to also do the same with these. Even with stainless steel bolts, I don't want the aluminum corroding out at the bolts and my tailgate breaking off. Cross-contamination of metals, cross metals, when exposed to water and salt and electricity, nonetheless, which this is going to be because it's going to be part of the ground of the vehicle. I mean, it's all subject to DC volts. And so I need to make sure that there is good separation between the aluminum and the steel. But as for now, it swings. You know what this means? It means I can start working on figuring out how to make that latch work. One step further. Okay, so today I have put in a rubber backing between the hinges and the plate, and I got the cut for the actual latch. It's in there, it's not bolted in. I need to fabricate a bracket that these can screw into to hold it in, for one, and then this can bolt onto, and also the lock, and I'll drill out a hole for the lock. So, getting closer. Getting a little closer. I've got bit of a bracket here. It's not the prettiest thing. I've got to cut this out still. And then I've still got to drill holes in it for the bolts that will hold it down to the tailgate. And for the pull latch. Then, in theory, I should have a working latch, and then I can work on the lock from there. Well, I've got her working. Still got to handle the lock, but for now, let's see. Opens up, closes. Opens up, closes. Opens up, closes. I'll show you what I did. And I'm probably still going to drill this out, put a couple screws. This is just kind of a test of theory. But the bracket's ugly, but it'll do. And here it is, the mostly finished product. Let's see here what we got. The latch works, latches. Got a limit strap here. Not the prettiest things, but up here I'm going to have toolboxes on both sides is my plan, so they're going to be mostly hidden, as is that ugly bracket there. And I plan to do another limit strap for the other side, but it's getting a little late. I'm kind of done for the night. Probably go put together a video or two that we've had piling up that I haven't gotten to because I've been down here working on this. So, oops, that's a little bit tight, but that'll be nice on the trail actually, because hold it nice and tight. Hopefully it shouldn't have too much rattling, especially once I get the weather strip in there. It should be quiet. It should be sweet. Thanks for watching, guys. You ever want to build your own tailgate? It's possible. I mean, I don't actually have much as far as fabrication skills, and I managed to make it work. If you've ever made anything, or if you're pretty mechanically inclined, it's not actually difficult. Well, I mean, it was a little difficult, but it wasn't impossible. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for watching. The Lord bless you and keep you.